Hello everybody, welcome back to another Roblox scripting tutorial. In this video, I will be teaching you how to stack parts using position and size. So let's get started. So as you see here, I have a Google Slides presentation which I have made, and this Google Slides explains how to stack parts together in Roblox. So let's get started with that. So the title of the slides is How to Stack Parts Using Position and Size, Roblox by Nightblock Scripting. Where is the position of the part exactly? The position of the part is at the very center of the part. And here is a model demonstrating this concept. So I have a part, translucent part, and as you see, there's a little white dot, and that dot is where the position of the part is. So it's absolutely crucial to understand that the position of a part in Roblox is located at the physical center of that part. Now, this is where that dot indicates the position of this part over here. And I just put a little thought bubble and an arrow. So, how do you put one part next to another? You need the size of the part. Depending on what direction you're stacking it, X, Y, or Z, you need to find the size of either one of those coordinates. A default size part has a size value of 4, 1, 2. So here's a little chart that I took a snippet of from my game. So this is how these are the dimensions of a default size part that you'd insert inside of the game. So a default size part has an X size value of 4, a Y size value of 1, and a Z size value of 2. So keep that in mind. Stacking in the X, if the X size value is 4, you want to place the new part 4 studs away from the existing part. Here's how. So here's my script over here. Stack part.position equals center part.position plus vector3.new 4, 0, 0. And you may notice the 4 comes first because that's the X. The X comes first, then the Y, then the Z. Okay? And then below that is a model that I drew of the of this concept demonstration. So basically, here we have two parts. These two parts are 4 studs long. Okay, each one of them is 4 studs long. I wrote a little note, place the next part 4 studs away from the existing part, and you may notice that these two little dots here, this is where the position of the two parts are. So if the X size value is 4 and you want to stack in the X direction, you need to place every new part 4 studs away, away from the existing part. And this is what the script does. Although the two parts are touching each other, it's the centers which are 4 studs away. So you always want to think what's the position, where you always want to take the center into consideration, guys. Same thing for Y. If the Y size value is 1, then you want to place the new part 1 stud higher than the existing part. Here's how. So here's my script. So Y value is in the middle, so it's 1 right here. So you should know by now what the script does. I understand, sorry if you guys can't see it very well, but this is the same kind of model, however it's stacking it on top of each other. So as you see, each part is 1 stud high, and if you are stacking parts which are 1 stud high, you want to place every part, you want to place those parts one stud on top of higher than each other in the script. That's because the centers are one stud away from each other. So, same thing for Z. If the Z size value is 2, you want to place the new part 2 studs away. You should know by now that Z is the last column right here. Whoops, sorry guys. So yeah, this is my script, and this is the third model I drew. So this is as if you were stacking a default size part in the Z direction. So again, think about the centers. How far are the centers? So basically, you definitely need the size. So since both of the parts are 2 studs wide, you want to place them 2 studs away from each other because the centers are 2 studs. Alright, so that's the end of the presentation, and I also have a download link. Click here to download it. So basically what I've done is I uploaded my Roblox file to MediaFire. So if you want to check that out, you can download it. So and test it for yourself. You will need Roblox Studio. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that presentation. I'm definitely gonna publish this Google Slides presentation if you want to see it yourself. I'll have a link to that in the description below, both the download and the Google Slides presentation. So now we are gonna be going into the game. So let me show you what I've done with this world, what to expect. So I didn't really change that much. I've made the script so that it will stack the parts together. And why isn't this working? I do not know. Let me check. It should have done it, but anyway, so as you see, don't forget about the negative X direction. The parts are perfectly stacked together. I use standard size parts. So basically what I have done with this world is with these parts is I color coded them. So the red parts indicate the X directions, the positive and negative X directions, and the blue parts indicate the Z direction, and the green part indicates the Y direction or the vertical direction. And I simply don't know why. Oh, now it works. And I've also color-coded the parts to let you know which direction the parts are stacking at. So, like I said, for a default size part that has a size value of 4, 1, 2, if you're stacking in the X direction, you want to place each part 4 studs away from each other in the script. So in the X direction, the parts are 4 studs away. In the Z direction, since the parts have the Z size value 2, they are stacking 2 studs away from each other. And in the Y direction, they're only 1 stud high, so they're stacking one stud away from each other. So let me just show you the script real quick. So I made a reference to center part. Center part's basically it's not in the game, but it basically do an instance.new. I'm not sure if I explained what instance.new was, but it basically creates a part. So center part is the part is basically the center, and all the parts stack from it. And then click detector. Alright, so the lines we're going to be paying attention to, the most important line here is line 24. This is what I'm talking about. Basically, for this script, we are using part pose as using position value, and depending on what part pose is how many studs we are going to stack it. So part pose initially sets itself to 4, and every time it enters this while loop, it will add itself by 4. So first time it enters the while loop, it will place a new part 4 studs away from the center part right here. And the second time it enters the while loop, it will be 8 studs away. So which is why part pose equals part pose plus 4. Same thing for the second function. I use the second click detector for the negative x direction. You may notice that I use a different variable, part pose 2, and I used instead of positive, I used a minus sign, a negative part pose 2. So it would be like opposite of the part pose 2 value. So let's say if the part pose 2 value be 4, it will put the first part in the, it will put negative 4 studs away from the center part. So the x direction goes first, guys, and then I add part pose 2 by 4. Slightly different story with the third and fourth function. The third and fourth function place every new part 2 studs away in the z direction, because the z size value is 2. So let's say, so every time it enters the while loop, it will place every new part 2 studs away from each other. So basically this script stacks the parts relative to the center part. So the first time it enters the while loop, it will place the new part 2 studs away from the existing center part, and then 4, then 6, and 8. So it basically adds itself by 2. It basically uses the part pose 3 value for this. Same thing for the part pose 4, however it's in a negative z direction. Part pose 5, so there's a little bit more to this. So it basically stacks itself in the vertical direction. However, I needed to anchor the parts so that they wouldn't, fall down, because if they were to be unanchored, they would just fall and wouldn't work. And the reason why part pose is 5, because I just wanted to have the green parts levitate a little bit. So it will use, the program's going to use the part pose value as its y value, part pose 5 value, and every time it enters the while loop, it increases it by 1, because every part is 1 stud away from each other. So let me show you an example of how you can better understand this. So hold on, let me just see. So let's say if you're stacking it maybe in the x direction. So let me just get these 2 parts together. All right. So let's say if you were to be stacking a part in the x direction with a size value of 4. So since the 2 parts are 4 studs in length, they will need to be placed 4 studs away from each other. So as you see, the first part is at x52, and the second part is at x56. That's a 4 stud that's a 4 stud difference. And you have to understand that the centers, it's basing it off the centers. The centers of the parts are 4 studs. So one way you can interpret this is having another identical size part, however placed halfway between. It's basically placed in the middle of these 2 parts. So basically all you need to do is just figure out the length of this part. So the centers are a full length of a part away from each other. The same thing for Z. So basically you just want to take the size, the length of the parts and use them as how many studs you want to stack it. So this is how you do it in the Z. But anyway, guys, so hopefully this demonstration was helpful for you. Again, I'll have a download to the world in the description below, and I will post the Google Slides, and I'll have the link in the description below. But anyway, so hopefully this video was helpful for you. Yeah, and I'll see you later. Bye.